And I'm live. Welcome to another episode of Mondays with Miko. Another very special episode. My guest speaker, I'll tell you all about him in a minute. But the guy who's in the green room is a very dear friend of our family, and I'll explain it in a little bit. But for now, definitely welcome. And if you can, as usual, if you're watching this on the replay, please share it and put your comments in. And actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do something a little bit different today because some folks have been leaving comments when it's on like my wall or on the Time for Change page. And I feel really bad because y'all, I don't see y'all comments until after the fact. So I'm going to try something different today. And hopefully I will be able to see your comments. Thank you so much, Dom. I'll be able to see your comments. So, but for now, share. Hello, Virginia. Good to see you. I'm really looking forward to this conversation today. I tell you, I wish somebody had my phone so they could do this share so I could start off immediately talking to you guys. Okay, so I'm sharing it. There it is on my wall, and let me put it in the group Time for Change. And if anybody happens to be watching and you guys are in the Rose Colored Mullins group, it'd be awesome if you could share it there too. So, I hate to just constantly beat a horse, right? Constantly beat a dead horse. But today my topic is yet again on COVID, on the vaccines, but from a different perspective, right? So the one thing that I try to do is keep the perspectives open, right? Not just me out here giving you my opinion, but bringing professionals, people who are in that space to the table so you guys can hear from them. And this young man that I'm bringing today, he is in the healthcare field. He lives in Texas. And so things are bad all over, but things are really bad in Texas. And I'm hoping that we can avoid that for South Carolina, right? So one of the things that we have here, and I wanted to share with you guys, is my day job. Remember, I'm also an executive director for Pick 42 Foundation. And in my day job, we as in our team consisting of Virginia Ellaby, Robin Seeley, our board of directors, Terry Davis, Selena Graves, Cheryl Bailey. We are out handing out, making up these care kits. So you see a little plastic bag and it says "Be Safe" on it, as well as our number, and these face masks. And these are very high quality face masks, right? They're black and gray, so you can wear them either color. They have they're like, I think 4-layered, right? So, and I just put it on, and now I'm talking through the face mask, but they are very, very thick material. They're washable and reusable. Hello, Nathalie. These are absolutely free, and we have plenty to give out all throughout the community. So if you need some, feel free to reach out to anybody on the board of directors. I believe we've also providing them to the city of Mullins. If anybody in Marion has an organization or a church that would like some face masks, just hit us up. Oh, good. Virginia says they're very comfortable. We also have, we're giving them out in all of our food boxes. So this is something that we started to do last week. And it's our goal to get as many face masks in the hands of our community so that we can all be safe. And these are really good ones. These are really, 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 really good face masks. I wanted to get that out for you. And then at the end of the call, and I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all now, your girl, is absolutely humbled to be speaking this Saturday at a marker for a slave. So there's a slave cemetery in Marion, and I'm going to be one of the speakers at the marker that's going to be dedicated. I tell you, I can't even put into words, right? The connection that I'm having to our ancestors and what that moment means to me to even just be invited, let alone speaking. So pray for me And I would love it if you guys could come. It's in Wahi in Marion. I will post some information out a little bit later about the event, but I anticipate there's going to be a very moving event. And Opal Lee, who is the woman who she didn't found Juneteenth, but she pushed, and she is the reason why Juneteenth is a national holiday. She will also be there speaking, as well as some other folks, some other local leaders, and some leaders from other states. So I'm excited just to be there. So with that, let's go ahead and hop on to, thank you so much, Nathalie. Thank you. I am so excited. So with that, I am going ahead and bring in my very, very special guest, Levi Sweat. But before I bring him on, let me tell you about Levi. Levi was my neighbor for a long time when we lived in Charlotte. And I remember him and his wife when they were newlyweds and they didn't have any kids, and then they had children, and they were just the best neighbors in the whole wide world. And now I asked him today how old was his oldest daughter, and he said 12. So I'm getting old. So, but with that, I'm gonna go ahead and bring to the show my friend. Hello, Levi.
How you doing, Miko? Thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being agreeable. And and what I want to do, guys, is Levi, he's an amazing father. He's an amazing man. And he's just like all of us, right? And so I just want for him to share his story and for you guys to hear things from his perspective. It's just another perspective, as I always say, we're all in this together, right?
That's true. So true. So true.
Okay. So we're going to protect my friend, because he is not here representing his job, right? So I'm going to talk in high level about what he does and who he does it for. But I will say this, is that Levi does work in the hospital system in Dallas, Texas. And he goes to work every day. And some of the things we're going to hear from him, they moved me. So I think they're going to move you as well. So thanks again. So I'm going to go ahead and hop into some of these questions, okay?
Okay, let's do it.
So, Texas is in the news, right? Texas and Florida are definitely in the news now for, the increase in the infections, the virus and everything. Yep. But take us back to 2020. What was it like at your hospital where you work at last year in 2020?
2020, initially in the beginning, it was pretty much normal. And things were, it functioned normal. It was open, people would come through. Things were normal. But when the numbers of COVID, when the COVID started to come and it hit, the rooms just started to fill up, a little bit by little bit, and then it just grew, and it continuously grew. But when they when the mask mandates, when people had masks on and wearing protection and practicing the cleanliness of their hands and things like that, that's as far as me, that's my belief. It kind of kept things under control. But
because we were quarantining, we were not out, right? We
correct.
were quarantining. I think your hospital, everybody couldn't just stroll in the hospital.
No,
people were washing hands, wearing masks.
Yes.
And so then, what do you think changed? Why do you think it's? We opened up, right?
Correct. Yes. And I think, with the climate, as we all can see, 2020 was a rough year for everyone. Of course, with us being on lockdown, having to be confined to homes, whereas though before you could go into different places and just, free roam and just live your life. You had to be cautious, and, you had corporations taking things seriously and upholding the restrictions. So at that time, we seen the numbers come down in the hospital. And now with everything being open, Texas was actually on the lowest list of COVID. infections in the whole country compared to a lot of places because we
Yeah,
did.
New York and New Jersey, they got hit. They got
Correct.
hit hard, right?
Yes, and I mean, I know we may think the news is, kind of like, with so many things going on, but those bodies that were being put in those trucks in New York were real.
Yeah.
Those were really all people that look like us. And I
Yep.
tell you, just seeing the people in those wards, when they're, struggling just to take a single breath, man,
Well, let's
it
talk
makes
about
me.
that. Let's talk about that. So you see people. This now we're going to fast forward to now, right? So
Yes.
now we're post Delta. We're in the Delta world, and you see people in the wards. You said struggling for breath. Like what are you witnessing when you say struggling for breath? What's that mean?
Like there's a lot of different symptoms with COVID in general. COVID attacks people's body differently. So there's no one symptom, but one of the symptoms that people get when they're in the final stages of COVID, or just realizing you have it and it's affecting you, because it happens really quick for some.
Right.
Um, and a whole lot faster for others. But they're trying to breathe, and the stories that I get from people when they have that oxygen, they're trying to get oxygen or the tube down their throat just to get oxygen into their lungs, because there's so much fluid on your lungs. Every single cough that you have is just it's a painful cough. It's just, and it's continuous. It's not something that, like, you cough a few times like a minor cold, but it's, you're continuously coughing, trying to get this fluid off your lungs, and that fluid, from other people's words who had it, is like tree sap. So
Wow.
you know how thick tree sap is, and your body, just think about when you swallow a drink and it goes down the wrong windpipe. That's painful.
Mm-hmm.
But imagine something coming out of your lungs, and it's hard for you to breathe. And it's like just every little teeny breath of air that you're trying to get in just to breathe, and it's just teeny amounts of air that you can get when you're going through those final stages. It's painful, and even on top of that, this virus may be affecting other organs in your body, failing other organs like your kidneys, or just poisoning your heart, or other, just many other organs in your body, or it's affecting you.
And
And
you're seeing that in the hospital
oh yes, yes,
on
yes, it's
on a daily basis now. Well, how do you um so how are your coworkers coping with this?
Man, it's scary times. It feels like those movies we used to watch, when you had these big breakouts, and the whole town's like the movie Outbreak.
With the little
Always think
outbreak
that.
monkey, it's not funny, but you
Yes.
can't think about the
It's
outbreak monkey and not
right.
smile.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's, though that's Hollywood, but this is reality. And we're fighting a monster that, we can't see, so it's not like you can say, oh, there's the virus on that door handle, you know,
Yeah.
you just don't know, or it's in the air, you don't know. And the person that can have it may talk to you, but he may have it, but he may not have any symptoms.
Right.
But you can get it, and now you're fighting for your life. So
So let's talk about I know you shared with me a story of a close family member
yes,
that
yes.
had COVID. Um what was his story? And was he COVID? Was he resistant to vaccines? I mean, what's his story?
Well, he he did. It was a close family member of mine, and he was like many of us, with the climate of everything, and just knowing the history of things, and how us as minorities and or people less privileged.
Oh, absolutely, because we have the comorbidities, and and I make no qualms about it, right? I talk to
Yeah,
everybody as it relates to we got to be safe as a community,
as a
but the
community.
fact is that this disease impacts African Americans at a higher
Well,
level, the same way diabetes does, the same way
Correct.
High blood pressure does. So, he was African American,
Yes.
and 2020, we know it was
2020,
crazy.
2020 was a tough year for African Americans,
Yeah.
but for all of us. And it had our minds just, listen, we didn't let's to put it out there, we just didn't trust anyone.
Mm-hmm.
So needless to say, we're seeing everything going on with the COVID or whatever. But back to him, he didn't want to take the shot like many of us, and he ended up contracting COVID December 2020, and he went in the hospital. He the way he knew he had it, he had experienced those same symptoms. He lost his taste, shortness of breath. He was feeling weak, having fevers, all these different things, the symptoms. So knowing the climate of things that's going on, he said, let me get checked out. So he went and got checked out. Well, they admitted him into the hospital because things got pretty bad for him. And he was pretty much in there fighting for his life at that time.
Wow.
And he was on oxygen himself. And but needless, he won the battle at that moment. And they sent him home because he was doing better and recovering. So he sent him home. And needless to say, the second week of January 2021, in the middle of the night, he got up because he was seeing things. He was seeing visions, hallucinations, and things like that. And in the middle of the night, he got up, and he was kicking and fighting for his life, and he was a strong guy, but he collapsed on the floor in my sister's arms, and he was coughing up blood, which were effects from this virus that reemerged in his body. So
Wow. And then what happened?
he passed away. Yes, he passed away. And
And how old was he? How old was he?
He was 48. He was 48.
He was a young man. He was a young
Yeah.
man. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry for your loss. I'm so sorry for your loss. And kind of what he had to go through. He had to go
Yes.
through because, maybe not in as much as in January because, the vaccine wasn't available for everybody back then,
Not at that time. It
Yeah.
wasn't. It was really tough for us as just regular Americans just trying to get this vaccine. If we wanted it, we couldn't get it at that time.
Right.
So
wow. So now, how about you? What's you're a healthcare worker. You
Yes.
probably have run into COVID, the virus a time or two, and you fought it off, right? It's been around you.
Oh yeah.
Where do you stand on the vaccine?
Me. Well, I'll tell you this right here. I'll give you a scenario. No one's immune to it. So, we're seeing it every day and seeing the patients in the wards and going through those things. Again, after losing my brother-in-law at that time, they were actually offering the virus the antidote at that time for the virus. And I was skeptical about it. I said, man, I don't know. I actually, the crazy thing about it, they gave us a paper. And
at work they gave you a paper?
Yes, I rejected it at first, and I said, nah, no thanks, no thanks. But from seeing so many people in these wards, man, like I was like, what do I have to lose? I mean, because what if I have kids at home, I got a wife at home, there's people that I encounter that I love. What if I gave it to someone? Not knowing.
Yeah.
That's
it.
So needless to say, I got the shot, and and it went from there.
But I thank you so much for sharing the story of your brother-in-law, as well as your personal story of being vaccine hesitant. Right? It's like, look, you're young. Everybody can look at you, see that you're young, you're healthy. But just like that,
Oh
it
yeah,
can change.
It can change very quickly. I mean, you hear so many different stories and see so many different stories in the hospital. Like I mean, I talk to friends all the time before my brother-in-law passed, and I'll tell you this: many of my friends, man, I'm not taking that virus. I mean, I'm not taking that shot. No,
Right.
you crazy? You know, a lot of them wouldn't mask up. They wouldn't wear masks. They didn't believe that it was real, or it would have hit them.
Right.
So, but when you work somewhere and you actually see how it's affecting people that look just like you think twice.
Right.
You really do. You think twice. And I mean, there are symptoms, with the vaccine itself, but I mean, you can get through it.
And I had it. I did, and I share this
Yes.
with people who watch my show and people that I know. Is that it was six of us, six of my friends. We all went the same day,
Right.
our first and our second shots together, including my
Mhm.
husband. And I came back, and the Virginia still's on. She can be a witness to this. We all get back. Everybody goes about their way, doing their jobs, things like that. It
Yes.
hit me. I had
Oh
the
yeah.
chills. I
Oh yeah.
had I had the shakes. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
it was
Yes.
bad for me. But I felt like, oh, you know what? I'm okay with this because I know this is temporary,
And that's
right?
my view. That was my view also.
So you had reactions too?
I did. And I when I got the shot, as you said yourself, initially, I got the shot. I didn't feel it. The first one, I didn't feel anything.
Me either.
When I got this first, I said, okay, all right. I was kind of, I was waiting to feel something, but I didn't feel anything the first time. So I said, okay, all right, well, we're good to go. So when I went for the second dose, and I got the Pfizer vaccination,
I had
and
Moderna.
Moderna too. That's
Mhm.
yes, it gives you the symptoms too. Yes, but I got Pfizer, and I'll tell you what, the second dose, it was like almost like you said, I went back to work, things were normal, and then I went home, and that night, I'll tell you what, my arms and my lymph nodes, man, they swole. So I was like, well, maybe it's just from the shot, but I got my shot here, but
Yeah.
it's swelling here.
It was our
Well,
body like fighting off. And for me,
rejecting
it
it.
was in
Yeah.
the summertime and I was freezing cold. Was I cold or hot? I was freezing cold. I was freezing cold because I had the heat on. I had the heat
Yeah.
on and I was underneath covers. And guys, Levi and I are telling you this not to scare you about the
Yeah.
vaccine, but just to be real, right? These are real
Be
stories.
true.
And for me and Levi is saying it was like we were going through this, but it was like, but thank God we're not going to get COVID.
Correct.
We could
Yeah.
fight this off because this is just our body going through a temporary thing.
Yes. I'll give you another scenario. Just myself also, like the same as you said. Uh, I had the chills. I got home and man, I just felt weak. Just kind of the same symptoms when you have like some kind of like a virus or so. Like a flu or
Yeah.
anything like that. Which I tell you what, I rarely get sick. Yeah, but I know what it feels like to get sick. So. But I had those chills and I was shaking like crazy. I took a shower and, but I was hot, like you said, and I was cold. And I tried to wrap up in blankets and I'm sweating and I'm having these chills. And I took old remedy, drinking orange juice, and took a super immunity booster drink. And, that kind of helped me out.
So
But,
you doing a lot. I just took 2 Tylenols. Woke up the next day, I was okay.
But I went back the next day and went back to work the next day.
Oh,
And I'll tell you what, I was weak that day, and my kind of eyes were kind of red and stuff, but I was weak, and I actually went home early, um, and I laid down the rest of the day, but I started to recover the day after.
Yeah.
I started to feel my body recover. And then after that, to be honest, it was uphill. I didn't feel anything after that. And then eventually the swelling went down after like probably about 5 days. And I was back to normal. So,
Well,
but
I appreciate you sharing all of these very personal stories. Um,
right,
if there was, and this is you're not going to be prepared for this, sorry,
yeah,
but what is your like final word? Now, let me tell you about our community where I live at now.
okay,
It's a little bit different than where we lived before.
okay,
My community is 70% African American.
okay,
Wonderful, wonderful people. Wonderful,
awesome.
wonderful people.
Yes.
We love on each other. We care for each other. We are survivors of two federally declared hurricanes, and yet we thrive. Exactly. Exactly.
That's right.
So, but right now, I look at COVID, and COVID is a federally declared national disaster, right?
You better believe it. You better believe it. Very true. It's. I'll tell you what. When we look back on this years from now, I'll say this lightly, like we look back on this years from now, but listen, this fight is gonna go on for a while. It's not over. For me myself personally, I said maybe like 1 year. We're so used to us being able to fix things and recover, but COVID. The truth of the matter with COVID's here to stay for a long time, if not forever. Because it's just these viruses are reproducing and just growing into, I guess, different types of strands, like the flu does.
Yeah.
So, we
We
have to
gotta
take
stop
this.
it. Well,
Yeah.
we gotta do our part, right?
And the reality is the thing that helped us is wearing masks, hand sanitizing, social distancing. Listen, now, I know the feeling firsthand. I'm in Texas, and you see a lot of the bullying going on with people wearing masks, and people look at you crazy because you're wearing a mask, and other people are not wearing masks. But out here, this is why the numbers are rising like crazy, is because of that same bullying or that same anti-masking. The reality is not the anti; it's just protecting yourself because you love yourself and you love others around you, and you want to be here to see them because this virus doesn't care, and yeah, it may not affect you, but imagine this: you have the virus and it doesn't affect you, but you bring it home to your wife, your girlfriend, your cousin, your grandmother, and they die from it. And you knew you had it. I had, I not going into detail, but yes, I've yes, I've seen a lot of people, it affect people in different ways close to me. I had, some leaders, within, my organization, they had relatives that had it. And
Right.
the relative had it, it didn't affect them that much. But, when they got it, they died from it, and
Right.
I'm talking about fast, fast.
Real
So
quick. Real
you
quick.
have to take this serious. This is not a laugh, and I'm not trying to force anyone to do anything that they don't want. I just give you my personal experience, and hope you love yourself and the people around you to do the what's best for you. Will the vaccine cure COVID? No, it won't, but it'll help you fight the virus if you get it, and that's the main thing, is helping. And right now we need anything to help than a lot of things that won't help, like not wearing masks or not getting the vaccination, or you know not practicing social distancing. We
Right.
could, African Americans are dying at a high rate right now in so many different ways, and this virus is checking us out even more, and we need as much of our brothers and sisters as we can. So,
Yeah.
we really have to protect each other, man. We are a very unique species, if you want to say it like that. We are the original, and but we gotta love each other enough
That
to be able to do
right. Right, we do. And you hit it right on the nose. We have to love each other, whether we're in Texas, whether we're in Charlotte or in
Yes.
Marion County, South Carolina.
Correct.
So, dear
Correct.
friend,
Correct.
I thank
Correct.
you so much for your time, your openness, your
Yes.
willingness to share your stories and what you see every single day. So we definitely
Yes.
appreciate you.
Listen, I thank you guys for having me on. And man, look, don't feel bad about getting the vaccine. You know, yes, it affects you in different ways, just as sometimes the flu vaccine. And me, I don't like to get vaccinated. I'll be honest. I'll tell you. But with this is different.
Yeah.
Man, this is really affecting us, and we just can't be silly to the fact that you know we could all be wiped off this planet. Many of us. We need as many of us as we can. We make this world go around, us as African Americans. Remember that. So
Yes.
get
On that
vaccinated.
note, that was power. That was power, brother, right there. Love it.
You know it, sister.
All right. Talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you.
Wow. So, I really, really wanted Levi to share his story. He was my old neighbor. Him and his wife, full disclosure, are one of our top donors for Pick 42 Foundation. They believe in the work that we do. And, hearing what Levi said, he talked about getting vaccinated to protect others, to protect other people you may spread it to. Now here we are, our kids about to go to school on Wednesday. We owe it to our children to protect them so that when they go to school, and also in our schools, masks are optional. So it's important, right? Our children should not be in the middle of this fight. So it'd be great if as a community we do all we can to protect each other and to show love for each other and to protect our children, because children are now being impacted by this horrible disease. So on that, you heard it from Levi and his heart and his experiences. And I just hope it's one more thing for you to consider. And if you are vaccinated and you have people in your house who are not vaccinated, I think it was maybe share Levi's story with them. Young man, good. He's obviously healthy. Had a brother-in-law, 48, healthy. He's no longer here, right? So let's continue to spread the word as a community. And in the meanwhile, don't forget, we're distributing face masks right now. So if you're just coming on board, the Pick 42 Foundation, its board of directors is working with the city of Mullins and others to get these face masks out all across Marion County in various ways. So if you need face masks, if you have an organization that's having an event and you would like 20 or 30 face masks for your event, don't hesitate to reach out to us and we'll make sure they get to you, okay? So let's move forward as a community. Let's move forward in love, all of us. And don't forget, I'm going to be posting about my speaking engagement this Saturday at the dedication of the Slave Cemetery marker. And if you could be in a place, I would love to have your support. Have a good week, everyone. Bye.